Hi there, everyone. Happy 2025, and welcome to our first virtual event of the year, day 2, that is, our AI Summit. I certainly hope that you enjoyed our first day of this annual event. And today we're going to have even more wonderful industry experts sort of share with you some of the pragmatic tools and steps you can take to really shore up your AI systems, your operations, how you're working on that. I wanted to talk a little bit more about one area of our AI safety initiative, which I've gone over with you on a multitude of occasions, and certainly there are probably many of you in our audience who are actually volunteering and working directly with us. But I wanted to delve in to one area that is quite critical to our AI safety initiative and ensure that you're aware of it. And it's also going to act as an introduction to our CTO, Daniele Catadu's a much more robust presentation later today about this aspect of our initiative. So these are some of the areas that I'll review for you. The big one is just talking about some of the top concerns in AI that we're hearing from members of our executive committee for our AI safety initiative, our corporate members, service providers, contacts in the industry. And I'm sure none of these will be a great bit of surprise to you, but I'll just quickly run through. Obviously, cybersecurity is number one on the list. This notion of the unauthorized access to AI models, data, and infrastructure, and how that could impact the individuals who are leveraging AI within their own organizations. Vulnerabilities in the cloud environments that host AI systems, and that's exactly why CSA is so mission driven on ensuring that we're helping our various constituents that we've been working with over these last 15, now going into our 16th year. Assurance, this idea that those who are using AI systems can have some confidence in the reliability, the safety, and the accuracy of some of these applications and tools. Transparency is one of the standout ones in that there's question about this sort of opaque decision-making process that goes on in the background. Folks are obviously concerned about. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about that one because it sort of rose to yet another top concern when it came to AI in 2025. And that's also lending some confusion, this notion of transparency about the roles and responsibilities in managing AI and cloud systems. Privacy, that's a no-brainer, right? Everybody's worried about their personal data. And of course, organizations worry that if there's a compromise, a breach, something happens, they will become non-compliant with the many privacy and regulatory compliance mandates out there. Bias and fairness is another one, and so is ethical use. And especially with ethical use, of course, we're seeing how AI can be used by cyber criminals, by those who are really trumpeting disinformation and misinformation through various and sundry ways. So those are quite impactful right now and top of mind. Transparency is one of those that's getting a lot of discussion because as AI adoption is continuing to expand, it absolutely is having societal, affecting societal norms, certainly driving some decision making, some of it maybe not so good. And then it should be helping to, business leaders to establish with the appropriate folks in their organizations some governance outlines, some strategic plans, and also some tactical how-tos. I read something just a couple of weeks ago about 80% of CXOs and then their board members are quite concerned that they're really failing on this front, having some how-tos and governance plays within their own organizations when it comes to AI. So all of these things are quite worrisome. I talked about this notion of it being a black box and therefore really eroding trust with many organizations. You can imagine that critical infrastructure organizations are quite concerned about the implications of this lack of clarity. Again, this whole notion of data usage and privacy. And then the idea of accountability and what happens if something does happen, something bad does happen, whose will we see deflection? So this idea of addressing these concerns, transparency, but even all the other worries that I put forth in the first couple of slides, can really be addressed through these different types of initiatives or steps. And we're concentrating quite heavily on all of them, but the one that I wanted to get into is this idea of developing collaboratively standards with some controls, and that will account for other frameworks and regulation that we're seeing out there. As many of you know, CSA is very well versed in really building this collaborative environment with all of the right industry players. We've done that with a number of our different offerings. Our cloud controls matrix that is used globally by just hundreds of thousands of companies, really. And we'll be doing that again with through our AI initiatives. And the benefits of taking on this sort of collaborative approach to establishing cybersecurity controls and privacy controls, safety controls for AI is it's just useful. The benefits help these service providers, the companies using AI. It reduces those legal and operational risks, builds trust. You've got these streamlined, vendor-neutral controls objectives to which you can really adhere. And of course, those who want to leverage the applications, the services, can make sure that the companies with which they want to work are actually following some acceptable vendor-neutral standard or framework. And so, and then of course individuals too. It's not just the companies and the teams in these companies, and of course all of the providers out there. Just everyone using it on a day-to-day basis, and at that point, it's pretty much a lot of us. It will reassure us that these companies actually care about these things, about safety, about our privacy, about security, about bias, and all of the other ethical issues that go along with using AI, which is let's face it, it's the most consequential technological development of our lifetimes. So we all have a vested interest to ensure that we are really embracing safety, security, assurance, privacy, and tackling those myriad ethical issues. We lead the way. We've been doing it for 15 years, and having established our AI safety initiative probably like 2.5 years ago at this point, you're well aware of all the areas of our mission: creating those trusted security best practices, giving customers of all sizes the templates, guidance, knowledge, all of the stuff that they need to use AI responsibly in their organizations. And then making sure that we're not reinventing the wheel, just like other of our frameworks and our guidance. We work with different government entities all over the globe to make sure these industry guidelines and these knowledge centers that we're establishing align and work and are, consensus driven. So we're well over 1,600 or so volunteers who are working with us on all of the different products, services, offerings that we are looking to release as part of our AI safety initiative. There's just been a bevy of research and guidance that you've seen over the last year, especially driven by our different research working groups. We're also looking to ensure that we address the professional development and credentialing, just like we would, for example, with our CCSK. And that is actually, we should have some cool announcements shortly. We're talking to a lot of different partners there. And this particular area that I'm discussing is all about this AI provider certification and compliance, which is through our STAR program. So basically, and we kind of teased it, I think, in some of our events last year. I know I certainly did last fall. We talked about our AI controls matrix, similar to our cloud controls matrix, getting released for peer review. And it will form the foundation of CSA's STAR for AI, which is really our the STAR assurance program, or I should say the STAR program and registry is our certification and assurance program for organizations and service providers, so that those who are seeking to work with different providers can come to us, a vendor neutral organization, and understand if these folks are adhering to certain security controls objectives under all of the critical domains. So the AI safety certification and assurance program will be the same, sort of an extension, if you will, of our cloud certification program. And just like all of our other initiatives, when it comes to making sure that we get all the expertise we can across all the major markets, governments, nonprofit, etc., we are definitely putting our belief in shared responsibility into practice. The peer review for our AI controls matrix, I really encourage you to participate and share your feedback. We want to make sure that we're leaving a really solid open window to get as much insight from industry players as possible, to make sure that we're addressing all the various concerns, all of the problems that still kind of stick in the back of our heads when we're thinking about AI safety, security, privacy, and assurance. We did work with all of the major AI providers who are also part of our AI safety executive committee, the cloud service providers, SaaS providers, the enterprises using AI, government entities like CISA, and many others, certainly other governments around the globe. Getting your input will be just as valuable to making sure this framework is as robust as it needs to be, and then also that we introduce a mechanism by which we can make updates that really align with how quickly AI has sort of evolved even in the last 2 years. So please, I encourage you to check out that link in this slide. Definitely check out Daniele Catadou's presentation later today. He's going to dig much deeper into all of the folks who worked with us and what the different controls are that we're looking at, and how you can get more engaged with us. This is just a smattering of some of the other areas that we have ongoing. But one of the big things that I want to have you keep in mind is the RSA conference. We hold our annual CSA Summit there. As soon as RSA announces it on our website, I encourage you to, put your name into the ring to attend. It usually is standing room only at RSA. We definitely are going to be announcing more disruptive, game-changing programs, projects that are related to our AI safety initiative. Jim Rivas, our CEO, and some other heavy hitters from the industry, from Google, from Deloitte, from Coalfire, also talked about one of those very things. It's a soft launch of our compliance automation revolution. So if you didn't get a chance to see that presentation yesterday, you can certainly get the on-demand version. And then of course see Daniele speak about our new matrix. There are plenty of other ways that you can engage with us on our AI safety initiative, so just hit up our site or contact me directly, and I'd be glad. I'm always talking to industry friends, so I'd be glad to answer any questions or just talk shop, which we'll be doing more of through some additional podcasts for our CXO Trust initiative. So you could even be a part of that if you wish. It's going to be a fantastic year for CSA's AI Safety Initiative, as you have been learning. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day with us, and I definitely appreciate the time you're taking to be here. So thank you so much, everyone.